Yeah, so welcome Germany, welcome Austria, and welcome Swiss, and welcome America. Nice to meet you. Redmond is calling.
Welcome.
Hi, Ragnar.
Hey.
So we are starting here, and we have already our guests in the show. This is a special show because they are right sitting next to you, and Aditya is coming in here also right now. And as you might know, our followers, I have to speak English now, so this is not so good for me. But nevertheless, it's happy. Oh, Ragnar, what are you doing? I hear myself. Okay, it's working now.
I didn't do that.
Please. Really? So for the people who are watching now, we had around 10 minutes to set up the technical things here, so we have no echo. So please don't change anything, Ragnar. Yeah, we are happy to have you all here in the show. And usually, Ragnar and me, we are just talking a little bit about the last week and what we have done. And no, today is a very special day because the MVP Summit in Redmond is taking place. And as you might recognize, I'm not there. So I'm crying every day, looking at my LinkedIn portal and see all the great people and the features and the photos and whatever. So it was not possible because I had a live streaming show today, the Teams show. Maybe some of you have seen it. And so that was not possible for me to ride to or to come to Redmond.
And with us in our hearts, traveling in our hearts.
Virtually. Yeah. Sometimes I hear your voice when you ask questions in the sessions, and I'm get a little bit excited, of course, then, yes. Okay, so first of all, we also have some things like, what is Gewinnspiel in English, Ragnar?
With a raffle prize?
A raffle prize, yes. Because we have a sponsor, we need, first of all, before we talk to the guests, we need to talk about the raffle prize. It goes very fast, no problem. Wait a second, we have an intro for this. Here it is. So the raffle prize today is a Poly P5 Kit with a Blackwire headphone, and this would be a great solution for Ragnar today, so that we have not so many problems with the audio. So you can win this and use the QR code, or I will put it in the top right. There's the QR code, and please do this. Ragnar, do you have something with you what you can show? No, I have nothing here to show.
I have nothing here from the Poly.
That's a shame.
Nothing
Sorry, Poly. Next time we show it once more in the camera. But as you might know, our followers, Poly has great stuff. So this is really cool, and you can win it today. So to come further up fast, because we want to use the time with the cool people here in this show, I show the next banner, and this is our guests. Yeah, Ragnar. So tell us, who do we have with us today?
Exactly. So I'm very excited that because yesterday we were part of the Viva Engage session where we talked about the latest, hottest Copilot topics. And I thought, oh, listen, I cannot tell anything because it's currently today. There was a blog post from Königsbauer, and now everything is lifted, and we can talk finally about the crazy OpenAI, ChatGPT, Copilot things in Viva Engage. And I'm super happy and thankful and excited to have Aditya Chalapati with us, program manager from Microsoft Redmond, who is responsible for the Copilot experience, and especially in Viva Engage. So welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
One thing what I did not really clarify in our briefing is: are you only responsible for the Copilot experience in Viva Engage, or are you also covering other like Viva Learning, Copilot experience, and other workloads?
So I'm part of a broader team. I wouldn't say I'm the sole responsible person for Viva Engage Copilot, but even then, I think so. I'm the things I work on are Engage Copilot and Answers Copilot, but in general, what we aim to do is have coherence across all of the Copilots, so across M365 and Viva and things like that. So we work cohesively as a team. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I cannot really talk much about the MVP Summit because everything is under NEA, but the number one topic by far, and I can ask Amy, I can ask Christian, number one topic is Copilot. Everybody talks about Copilot. So that is the leading theme here for the whole three days. And that's why I'm so excited to have you here and show what's going on. Would you like to spend more like 3-4 sentences about your life, what you're doing at Microsoft? Are you part of the former Yammer team, or are you more in another organization? How are you?
Yeah, I can certainly give a little bit of an overview. So number one, Viva Engage is now called, or Yammer is now called Viva Engage. So Viva Engage is what used to be called Yammer, and so theoretically they're the same thing. And so we have multiple modules, as people know in Viva. We have Engage, we have Answers, we have Learning, we have Insights, and Engage is one of the more popular ones, which is sort of our social enterprise sort of app. Where we connect people, and our mission is to empower people in social connections and in communities. And so my involvement in that is my my title is a senior PM architect. So I work on building product specs as well as helping with the underlying architecture and some of the code with doing some of these ML embeddings and intro and sort of integrations. And my background is I used to work as an ML engineer and an ML engine manager, and before that, and on the side, I do some lecturing on ML and things like this. Yeah.
Thanks much. And to complete our introduction round, please, Amy, start to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Joining you here from Redmond. My name is Amy Dolzine. I'm a Microsoft 365 MVP, specializing in 2016. And I currently work at EY and help manage our Microsoft Alliance.
Thank you. Next to me.
Yeah, and I am Christian Buckley. I am with Ragnar at Rencor. I'm the director of North America and Asia Pacific Partner Management, and I became a Microsoft 365 MVP back in January of 2012. Was initially a SharePoint MVP, but down the entire collaboration stack, which includes Teams, of course. I'm wearing the swag, so you see wear the branding as we do here, as well as Yammer and kind of all the collaboration tools. So been in the community for a long time, and then actually since about that long, since about like 2010, 2011. So
yeah, and I'm also part of the Yam fam, and also part of here wearing, and let's kick the wheels and see how the demo looks. We have there. Idea would have personal confidential on a screen, so it doesn't make sense to show your real working screen. But there is a video which is public, and maybe we just start here and show how the video looks like, and hopefully, and now we have to really see how this works. Hopefully, also the sharing works of the YouTube video. Let me just see. It's currently not recognizing my Edge browser, but okay. So that's something what I just learned. Edge is not supported, but I will just copy and paste it into my Chrome experience, and then in 1 second be able to watch the video, which is going to take like, and then just give me
Sorry,
a
Ragnar.
second, and then.
Which land are you right now on the Earth? Because your internet connection is so bad. We see a monitor. Wait a second.
So now I can run the video?
Yes.
Okay.
Modern communication platform that leverages social
Hopefully you hear
concepts
the
and
sound.
multimedia content to drive engagement and two-way discussions with employees. Here on the Viva Engage homepage, you can view your feed, see upcoming events like AMAs, and even get a snapshot of trending topics and audience sentiment. This is also where leaders can start drafting a post, for example, to share out quarterly goals with their organization. With Copilot in Viva Engage, you can get assistance drafting your initial post to help your content have greater reach and engagement with employees. You can ask Copilot to suggest language for a post that shares your team's upcoming quarterly goals based on an existing business plan document. It starts generating the draft post and shows you a preview. You're in control and can edit and personalize the content along the way. You can also ask Copilot to adjust the shape of the post or its tone, for example, to make it more inspirational. Images make content more impactful and engaging, and you can ask Copilot to suggest some relevant photos. Select the ones you like, and Copilot will add them to the post for you. Copilot can also suggest potential audience questions you may want to proactively address in the post, along with any relevant links. You can continue to edit and make any last changes before posting it to the team. After publishing, Viva Engage provides leaders with real-time feedback on user engagement. You get the fundamentals, like how many people have viewed, liked, or frowned your post. And you also get rich AI-driven comment summaries, trending rates, and sentiment analysis to understand how your message resonated with employees.
Okay, that's it. I hope everybody is so excited like I was when I saw it yesterday live. But this is just an amazing evolution. You know, my heart is beating for Yammer since minimum 8 years, and I didn't expect this kind of innovation and progress. So I was literally blown away. I'm using ChatGPT since mid of December, like many of us, and it's so great to see it finally in Viva Engage. So congratulations to your whole team. That is pretty awesome. Let's just summarize what we've just seen here. So we have the Viva Engage experience, formerly known as Yammer. Now everything is now officially rebranded. It's going to roll out over the next weeks, the whole rebranding, and we are going to write articles in Viva Engage. We can add it. We can write directly to people, to communities, or to our company feed. And the Copilot experience is helping us here to increase, to maximize the postings, to write postings, but also to summarize it. And that was my personal highlight, to really use and upload documents and create content based on these documents. So that's something what I didn't expect as a ChatGPT user, to really work on uploaded documents. Tell me, please, Aditya, what is your favorite feature in this whole experience?
I can't choose. I think there's so many pieces that are super exciting. I think I just want to take a pause. My audio is coming through correctly, right? I know we checked ahead of time. Yeah, okay, great. So there's so many things that are really exciting. Personally, what I'm most excited about, to be honest, are the things that people are going to create with this, because we think it's going to unlock creation and unlock creativity in so many levels.
That's also very important to find the right tone, because in the Yammer world, we always talked about addressing the right tone into the right audience. Sometimes we have a community which is technical, then we have a community which is full of dog and pet lovers, so we have to find the right tone. And here, that's something what I also have seen. There are predefined tonalities, which helps us immediately to find the right tone for the right audience.
Well, yes. Something when you're writing content, especially like in the example there of taking from like the company's, the highlights of the business plan and summarizing that information. I mean, we as humans, we are our own worst editors, and that usually it stops creativity, because we're like, I don't want to write that, or that's not the right wording, or we have natural biases towards certain information that's within that plan. one of the things that I like about leveraging that is saying, go and take the company business plan, which was meticulously crafted and worded around that, but pull out the important things that need to be conveyed, and it will attempt to write that. And you can make adjustments to that. You can have that regenerate that creation, but it can go and remove your personal biases and summarize that information and convey those points that need to be made about that plan with that wording in seconds, rather than you struggling for hours trying to craft that short message. Because one of the hardest things to do, let's all be honest, is taking a multi-slide, multi-page document and summarizing that into 3 or 4 bullets. That's painful to do. And so that's to be able to go and take that complex data and pull out the trends, pull out the pertinent information, summarize that very quickly so that you can communicate that out. And then somebody can always go and look and read the full document to get more detail, but to get the essentials out of it very quickly, huge time saver.
Yeah, I can imagine myself walking through a deck or a document, right? And for me, writing is thinking. I've heard that also at this conference this week. Like for me, so I might end up writing a really long thing, and to be able to upload it into something like that summarizer in Viva Engage and have it summarize it for me,
Totally.
all of the crazy thoughts that I have, and and it will still sound like me because I wrote that part.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to be just really great. And I think we're going to have to do a lot of training of people of how to make this co-pilot still feel like you, like it's your co-pilot. It's your co-pilot. It's not just a co-pilot. Like it can be you.
I like thinking of it more of like in the VR virtual reality, it's more of the augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
It does not remove your need to your inputs, that part of it, your voice, your tone, that your language, but it helps speed up that entire process.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly. I think that everything you've said is what we're thinking about. We want to make sure that this is augmenting people, and this is augmenting people's creativity, and we want to be really careful that we do that exactly in their voice, and we want to be really careful in making sure that people are comfortable using this tool, and they're excited about it and they feel safe, etc. Everything you just said.
Yeah, I think that's a very important message. And I also went to the session about managing from Copilot and administration, and they said it's so important that the experience is going to look like in every single experience the same. So if you go to other workloads, the same Copilot experience, so same risk standards, same security standards, and same look and feel. And that's very important when we talk about change management and adoption, that Copilot is very consistent, because then it's going to be used, because there's also the risk that it's not going to be accepted for some reasons. And maybe we can take just a few minutes to debust a few myths around Copilot.
Sure.
So around security topics. Let's say,
okay,
I'm going to ask you some customer questions. Does Copilot content leave the tenant, for example, and go somewhere else?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, even the content that you submit to Copilot, say you put in information into Copilot, like say something like, hey, this is my goals for the year, or for my goals for the quarter, or something like that, or teach me about dogs. Any one of those things that you put in, Microsoft doesn't even have visibility on that. In fact, we consider it what is called eyes off content, and it's eyes off customer content, so nobody is viewing that content. Yeah, and nobody from Microsoft and nobody outside. It stays within the company. Yeah.
Oh, that's very important. Yeah. What are your current thoughts about the administration experience? Just your ideas about that. Will it be part of the former Yammer administration part, or will it go to global admin center? Is there trends, like making the Copilot experience in one single place, or just cross admin center? Shared.
Yeah, this is a really, really good question. And I understand why it's top of mind for customers, because administrating such a new feature is going to be really tricky. I just want to start with that, because I think administrators are still a little bit hesitant, and employees are still a little bit hesitant. We're seeing more excitement than hesitation, but I think in any conversation with AI, you see hesitation. And so we're being really mindful to make sure we're optimizing to solve for that hesitation as well as meet that excitement. And so we're still sort of, I would say, iterating on the specific plan on what level of granularity is needed. Do customers want something that stretches across everything? Do customers want something to just turn off a specific piece or something like that? I think because we're so new in this space with generative AI in general, I think it's a space we're still exploring, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're going to launch, you don't have to mention your launch dates. That's not what I'm asking. But what will be the first features that you're going to launch in the first phase, in the first preview phase? What can we expect in the first launch wave?
Yeah. I would say that, so we do have some release dates out for the Viva Copilot, at least for Viva Engage Copilot. And we have some dates out for the other Copilots out as well. But for Viva Engage Copilot, we aim to release by September to general availability. On the scope of those first few features, I would say that, we're going to start with an iterative process, again, going back to what I said earlier. So, as we explore building this product, we'll see what is super exciting for users and what they're using a lot more of. And then sort of we can make sort of a final assessment in September. And then even then we'll start to change it and continue to iterate on it.
Yeah. Alex, could you also please share some comments here? So Kevin wrote.
Yes, of course. I already did. Wait a second. This one, you mean, no?
It's exactly from Kevin. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that you can reduce, wait a second, that time spent trying to work out the right way to say what you want to say or to change the tones to be more or less formal. The phrasing of Copilot is spot on for this. Yeah, that's great. Also, I have one question here. What I wonder, and maybe also many other people, how fast you implemented this solution right in the tools. Because the usual people just heard about it in the end of November or in December, and suddenly you have it in the solution. What happened there in the background? Have there been so many people knowing what's coming there and no one told us? Even the MVP have not been told? How did that go wrong?
That's funny. I think so. So a couple of things. I think a couple of things contributed to this. Like number one, I think OpenAI and Microsoft have worked to make it really relatively straightforward to introduce. I will say, like, our engineering team on the back end on Azure and OpenAI are brilliant, and they've done a really good job of allowing us to scale. So also a huge credit to them. And then the number two piece is, this is obviously, I think Satya Nadella says this quite often, this is the new computing platform going forward. So we're shifting a large amount of resources to make sure we prioritize this and capitalize on this opportunity. So a consequence of that could be that you're seeing speeds faster than before or something like that from what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. So do you guys have an additional question there?
Pardon me?
No, I thought one of the folks had an additional question.
Yeah, I mute them all the time. I'm sorry, Ragnar, I have to mute you because we have this audio problem here. So I will unmute you now and you can speak. Yes.
I was just going to say that you have a lot of people in the community that are talking about, like over with Power Platform, for example, that are talking about the power of ChatGPT to help with the creation of scripts and Power Automates of creating flows. And so the running joke is just like, well, obviously the product team is using ChatGPT to create these new products, and therefore speeding up the process of reaching Skynet and self-awareness.
That is funny. No comments. No, I'm kidding.
I was going to say, so if you want to read more about it, if you go out to the Microsoft 365 blog, Kirk wrote like the post like around the announcements today as part of there's a Viva Summit that's happening today. Of course, for those of us that are deep in Viva, it's happening during the MVP summit, so we're not able to do both. But in that, if you go down to the Viva Engage and learn more, also in Microsoft Tech Community, Jason Mayans wrote a detailed blog post where he walks through on Viva Engage, and there's videos, he has more screenshots and walks through and does kind of explores the features that are part of that go live experience. So definitely go take a look in Tech Community and search on Jason Mayans.
Absolutely, yeah. Jason's great. Jason's my boss. So Jason's my boss.
Okay. By the way, you tell more about the language models. You know, what's behind it in ChatGPT 4 and DaVinci 3. So what are you currently using here?
So I think the question was, what language model are we using in the background to power these things? I think is the question. Okay, so I mean, so I would say that we're using a combination. It's not just that we're gonna go in and we're gonna pick one thing, because across all of the copilots, I'm not just referring to Engage Copilot, but across all of them, different models have different strengths, and so we use them for different pieces. In some cases we have our own proprietary models that we use instead of the ones that people are most familiar with. Yeah.
Yesterday, I promised to my co-hosts that I'm going to announcement, which was launched a few hours ago. We have now a new Viva community, which is very exciting. So everybody can go to AKMS/Viva community, just launched in the morning, and that's create a new home place similar to the tech community, but really focused on Viva. So everybody who is interested to join our Viva community, which is now has a digital place at home. Oh yeah, okay. Kevin can also mention it. What is the best way to start now? Do you have some recommendations? What is now the best way? Just waiting, or is there a conference people should join? Are you going to share more on the M65 conference in Vegas? What is the best way to learn more about the whole Copilot experience?
Yeah, so it's a good question on how people can stay engaged. We'll continue to update this MVP community and the broader customer base on our developments as we think through these iterations. We've released some timelines already. Like we are going to release in September a version of the Copilot, so to the general public. So as we think through these timelines and as we think through these deadlines, we'll obviously communicate ahead of those things and build excitement as well as gauge results and gauge reactions. I would say that if people are really excited, one of the things that I would consider thinking about is stay tuned to this podcast and these MVP communities, because I would say before everybody we sort of speak to the MVP community first and make sure that they're engaged and that they're excited about what we're doing in many ways, as well as with our most sort of primary customers. And so I think this podcast would be an amazing source of information for people.
Super. Obviously, and yeah, I think everything which is going to be new is going to be found at AKMS Viva community.
I know one thing that I'm going to be skilling up on is prompt writing.
Oh yes.
Like learning how to write good prompts for these GPT tools is absolutely key to get out of them what you want from them. Yeah. So in the same way that people had to learn how to do good search terms, we're going to have to learn how to write good prompts. So I'm going to be skilling up on that.
Oh, that's a wonderful question, because currently what we've seen in the video, what we've seen is we are just entering some simple prompts, and then the article is going to be written, and then we usually publish it immediately in the Viva Engage article. But we could do more things, like having a proper dialogue. because in ChatGPT you can maybe have like following questions and more questions, and you're going to challenge the bot and challenge him more, and then you have a dialogue of 10 follow-up questions. Is this something what your system is also able for, to have this kind of dialogue, which is so different to a Google search?
Yeah. So, I mean, conversational chat is one of the most exciting. I mean, the fact that you can continuously chat with the LLM is one of the most exciting parts of modern LLMs, you know, so, and sort of super large language models. So we're super excited about integrating that capability and grounding it in enterprise data and an enterprise setting. And so for sure in the future, you'll see some sort of combination in this space.
And when you talk about enterprise, I think the biggest value, what I'm currently seeing, because in theory, I could also go to open AI, ChatGPT, and I could write something in there. But the value is here, you can use company internal documents, which are based on SharePoint, or let's make an honor to Hans Brenner, which I just seen Hans here also stored in OneDrive. So we are reusing the existing corporate enterprise documents and utilizing them by visualize them in a different way, more beautiful, or just summarizing or abstracting or asking questions to the document. And that's the biggest value compared to the classic ChatGPT experience, that we would just write a text.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I agreed. Yeah.
Talk about the pictures. We haven't talked about images yet. In this video, I could see that you're writing a text, and then there's also a kind of recommendation feature or algorithm which is showing, okay, this kind of picture should fit to your article, so it's going to do some recommendation. Is it using existing documents and photos based on SharePoint, or is it using DALL-E and creating new pictures? What is
That's a really great question. So when we think about images, number one, images are great in so many different contexts, especially in Engage and in Viva, because we see that people are really excited to engage with images and really, you know, sort of in-depth media. And we definitely want to encourage that with Copilot and enable that as much as possible. How we would do that is, to your point, we would potentially use enterprise images, potentially use DALL-E, things like that. In terms of how we're at a super high level, at least for in some specific scenarios, how we're thinking about images, specifically where we're sourcing them from, is we already have a set of images that we pull as Microsoft. So we already have a sort of a set of enterprise images that we can pull from, that we've purchased. So we can pull from those, and or to your point, we can potentially pull from images inside the enterprise. We're still exploring potentially generative images and sort of more creative images. The thing that we have to be careful about is, to your earlier point, we have to be really careful that these generated images are safe, appropriate to the context and things like that. So those are the things we're still exploring.
Yeah, great. No, that's really because everybody knows, and especially the Yammer and Engineering people, they know how important it is to use images, to use visuals, also to use photos in the story and storyline features. So it's not only about text, it's also about video. And it's also very interesting to see how the AI is going to create videos for us in the future, and not only pictures based on DALL-E or other solutions.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what about timing? Is this a good time to make a stop and then invite people on stage who would like to join us?
I think he's muted. Before Alex actually gets off mute, I'll say one more thing. I think on behalf of the product team, I'd like to sort of thank the community and thank this group of people again. I think one of the most exciting things about building products and doing sort of cool ML innovation is engaging with users and seeing the excitement come back, because we're super excited about it and it's super gratifying. We're super grateful for the active community that you guys sort of cultivate to make sure that excitement keeps going. So thank you again.
Thank you very much for your announcement here and what you answering the questions. who is wondering what I'm doing here all the time? I need to challenge the audio. So this is working. We have this echo on. So I'm sorry for that. And I did the raffle prize in the background. So this is what I want to take now. First of all, the raffle prize we need to share and the events coming up. This might be a German slot. Maybe we do it later, I think. But the raffle prize might be a good time now to do this. And then we will end the show. But it's still going on, so you may stay here for about 15 minutes less, and we will see if we get any people in this call, so they can ask you directly some questions. But first of all, we have the ref. So as you might remember, you could win today a Poly P5 kit with a Blackwire, of course with red cable, this Blackwire. And this is great stuff you can win. And who won this? It's René. René Bigger won this prize. A big applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you very much. So René, you get an email from us and we will send this to you. Thank you very much. And so now we will do the following. I will do the end time. So you stay here, please do not go away. And as our followers know, the official part is ending now with a small trailer, and then we come back with you, with the community. So stay tuned, and thank you very much. So guys, now it's much easier. Now we have, I'm sorry, Ragnar, still muted. If you want to say something, unmute yourself, please, if it's possible. Yeah, you want to say something? Okay, no problem. I unmute you.
Just a housekeeping question. Usually we have 50 more minutes where people can join on stage and put on their video. Do you have time, Aditya?
For sure, yeah, I'm happy to stay and answer questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, super. Yeah. Awesome. So let's see. That's always an interesting moment where we don't know who is going to join us here on stage, or if we just stay in the same round.
The usual people, sorry, I muted you. The usual people that come on stage are not in this show today. I've seen Mr. Redcap, I have not seen here in the comments, and also some other guys. So we just wait a second. We just talk once more about the point here. What I am interested in, sorry, Aditya, sorry, I hope I got this right, Aditya. I want to ask my MVP colleagues if they can talk just a little bit how it is there in Redmond with the community, so I can cry when I go to bed this evening once more. Just give us a little bit information, because some people are following here, and also we got in the comments that they are happy to share this information or get this information also from you right directly from Redmond. So maybe you have a small summary for us, 1 or 2 minutes, what had happened the last 2 days and how do you feel about it?
Yeah. So what I personally find very interesting is that after the most important news were communicated by Jeff Teeper and Kirk and Scott Guthrie, then there was so many sessions where the product managers and the program managers were just listening. So really round tables where they say, come on, we are not going to show products. We're just talking about 10 different questions because we want to listen to you. And that is so precious to have this conversation. And then the whole room, including everybody who's joining remotely, is very engaged, and the discussion were wonderful. Because otherwise it could be also, for us Europeans who are sometimes jet lagged, it could be boring if you would sit there for 8 hours and just listen without saying anything.
But that's the difference is that the MVP Summit is, I mean, certainly it's exciting to hear all the latest news. I mean, there's a lot, and we're being careful. Like I'm sitting here watching with the official press releases, like what are the actual words used by Microsoft? What are they talking about? What are they sharing to make sure we don't overshare the NDA information? Mm-hmm. But it's not just about hearing about those announcements. It's that a lot of times the product teams will come and the marketing teams, and they'll share insights into the messaging, and they'll share open questions that aren't answered yet, that are being discussed behind the scenes of where they go beyond this. And so we're providing feedback. We're sharing customer and partner, messaging and our personal experience to help shape the direction of the products. Sometimes we don't feel as listened to, but sometimes they do. They listen, they take that firsthand experience, and it does shape the products.
Yeah. And it's a very early stage. So I just see in comment that Christian Schacht is also here. So yesterday I was part of the session with him and Buchstein, and then we had so deep conversations, and then we just saw that the product team is talking about things where they don't have names for. So say, hey, listen, do we have names?
Yeah.
No, we still haven't decided how to call it. So that's something which is always very exciting to be so in touch with the latest developments.
For me, the greatest part is not just the sessions. I love the feedback roundtables; those are amazing. But it's the conversations in the hallways after a presentation when you meet up with another MVP and say, "Oh, I had not thought of that," or "What did you think of this part?" And hearing their perspective, which is something it's very hard to do in a virtual environment, to reach out afterwards because it's after the presentation and you're like, where can I share this? Who can I talk to? You're all, here. I've really missed this part. So it's been really wonderful being here with my friends and colleagues and learning from each other as well.
And it's about learning, but it's also and reporting. So Christian and myself, we had a situation where somebody came yesterday and was searching for a job in Europe. He's from Kenya and he wants to work in Europe or in the US, and we just we started talking to people. I didn't know, and any open roles that might be a good fit, but we started asking around, and we found a couple people that are hiring or might know about other opportunities. So it's we're very much often the hardest thing to do, even for MVPs that are some of the most social people on the planet, to kind of to reach out and to ask kind of the harder questions. You always think there's no dumb question. The only dumb question is a question never asked. Is that very profound?
It is.
Somebody else said
that,
I'm sure.
Yes.
But yeah, so to reach out and connect and ask questions, because you never know who might be hiring. You never know who might have a client that needs help that fits your experience. You never know what side conversations they had. They might know that technical answer. But you have to ask.
Yeah. And helping also means that we also help others to earn money. Christian is evangelizing the ticket groups, blog portal heavily, where I say, hey, listen, you can blog for, if you're a writer or an MVP or both, then you can also write for 10 euros and it's going to be paid.
Yep.
So it's really all about helping in many different ways. So it's not only about the consumption of content and the digestion. Yeah. So it is wonderful, actually. It's not so warm, 5 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it's raining, so not fancy weather, but we are here inside, and the conference rooms are not so cold as I have them in my memory.
Well, you got a jacket, as I heard about it. Yeah, MVP jackets. Okay, so I think. Oh, sorry, I have to mute you, otherwise we hear ourselves. Let's see. I think that usually we have this show in German, so I think some are afraid of speaking English. So we have not so many attendees right now, but this is no problem. Usually I would also not attend because my English is so bad. I'm sorry. So let's see. Guys, it's 9:45. Some last question maybe for Aditya.
Yeah, you can. I mean, if people want to post questions in the chat, I'm also happy to answer them. I don't need to voice them.
That would be great. Okay, so maybe we have a small view in the future. I know you already told a little bit about it, but maybe we can have a far more view in the future. Is there anything that you could imagine what will be possible? I had a great, sorry, just to introduce this, I had a great session yesterday about OneNote and Copilot. and we talked about what could be possible, maybe what we can do with this. And there have been three parts. It's bread and butter, what should be and what needs to be, and what is magical. And this was great because the magical stuff was really cool, what we found out there. So this is just my question for you. Can you expect something magical on the Viva Engage Copilot?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how much I can share about the potentially magical stuff yet, because these timelines and things like that are always questionable. But what I can share is, I think so. What I want to repeat, and this is what I think the magic is what Microsoft has stated. What we think is the magic of M365 Copilot and Copilots in general is a Copilot that follows you around. Right, so it's a Copilot that is ever present in workflows. So you can create something in PowerPoint with Copilot, and then you can immediately go to the Copilot in Outlook and then send that PowerPoint. Or in fact, you can be in the Outlook Copilot and go create a presentation and then send that inside that email. So, I really think that's the magic. You have this permanent assistant that can do magical things, and it's included in Microsoft's suite, so it's awesome. That's where I think the real magic is.
Sounds really great. I'm very excited to see this when it's coming. So, here's one more coming, Mr. OneDrive. Let's see. Mr. OneDrive.
Everybody dance.
Hi, Hans. How are you? Hans, can you hear us? Hans. I think he got also some beer. Hans, are you with us? Or he just wants to talk? Okay. I'm sorry, Hans. I put you off the stage. I think just seeing the house there is not so... Hans? Okay. I think it's a problem talking to America today. Ragnar, maybe some last words. I put on the audio.
I have to ask you one question, which I get all the time, and I think Amy and Christian would agree. We get the question all the time: when to use Yammer and when to use Viva Engage and when to use Teams. Will there be a different kind of Copilot experience when we are later this year seeing it embedded into Teams compared to the Viva Engage experience, or will it be the same kind of experience?
That's a good question. I think so. If I had to repeat the question, it's is the Viva Engage Copilot or the Viva Copilot going to be similar to the Teams Copilot?
Exactly, right.
Is that right? So the Teams Copilot is extremely cool. It's a really magical experience, and some of the features on it are things like, to recap for everybody, where when you go to a meeting, you can ask, say you miss a meeting, actually, you can ask Teams Copilot what are the notes that you missed on that meeting and what are the action items that you need to deal with and things like this. And so it's very productivity based, it's meeting and chat based, which is great. I would say that the Viva Engage Copilot, at least in the middle term, what we're really focused on is this creation aspect, as well as some summarization and things like that, where we can, suggest better images, suggest more engaging posts and things like this. And so I think that the experience that customers will see will be different across those two Copilots. Yeah. And we aim to have a differentiated experience. Although we want to have the same Copilot potentially across all of them, each app will have its own differentiated experience for Copilot, and provide its own differentiated value.
Amy, when you get your first access to Copilot, what are the first things you're going to try and play around with?
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. For some of the work that I do is like monthly business reviews, which is like lots and lots of slides and lots of data. And I would love to be able to start my summarization when I'm sending an email about that thing, to say, load that up in, tell me what are the top 5 you say, and into the engage post. I'm excited for that productivity. Have that a little bit of writer's block when it comes to to just upload the document and get a head start.
Okay, so here we have three different aspects. So we have the time-saving thing, we have the procrastination thing, where it's okay, actually I should do it, but I'm going to do it later, and then you skip, and then you have the write-up block topic. Actually, a solution can help in all three use cases. Great.
Yeah.
And then also the tonality to reach your audience better, and because you maybe have to write something for your CFO and for your finance department, and next time you're writing something for IT or for HR. So yesterday we had a very good conversation where we had chicken wings, and it's all about finding the right, writing to an audience. I think that's the most important thing to know who is your audience, and then find the right style and tonality and the right content and the right extra value you're writing, because then people are going to consume it and like it and learn and change. So it's all about finding the right channels and the right language.
Yep.
And there is no language. So even if we are all, I don't know, in the same company, no, you have to write to each single department and each single level differently.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good. I think that's the biggest game changer to really find the right language, because we're not used to do it. So you have a different background, and if you would write something to your CFO, it's a different language.
Yep.
Yeah, still English, but that's how we can be more successful, reaching our goals easier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, like being a marketing person, marketing people, we need extra positive reinforcement, right? So you could take a summarization of the business plan and say, but hey, this needs to be more uplifting and more put like a more positive sounding language around that. Like I joke about that, but that's like a real thing to be able to go and do. And so being able to craft that, get help again. This is something that you can sit and try to craft this kind of language by yourself and take an hour or more to do, or get the help, do it have something in minutes as an example, do some final tweaks and push it out quickly. It's just fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great. So guys, yeah, I think because of the audio and internet connection, Ragnar, it's unfortunately the way that we have 30 or 40 seconds good internet and then 20 seconds bad internet from your side. So sorry for that, guys. I think we have talked about it today, and I will end this session today now, if it's okay to you. Aditya, thank you very much for having you here in the show and answering the questions. Thank you very much for Chris and Amy attending here in the show. And Ragnar, we will see if what we can do next week. No, in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, correct? Yeah. Oh, that's too complicated for me. So wait a second.
But don't forget to share the community news.
Yeah, it's in German, the community news.
Come on, let's take this minute. It was okay. And we love community events, so we shouldn't skip it.
Okay, so I try it in English, maybe. Wait a second, I have to mute you. Okay, so here we go. So this is the upcoming events from the M365 Summit on 3rd of May. You can attend there remotely. And then we have on 9th of May, the Profi Teams test, what we are doing here from my side. The Microsoft build will be at the end of May, exactly at the same time as I can see now with the European Collaboration Summit. Well, this will be a big, fantastic show in Düsseldorf. And then we have, of course, some smaller parts. And then it comes up on the 15th of June. I think Hans will be happy now. We have the AMS Berlin Microsoft 365 conference. If he still has 3 seats there, I don't know. I posted this today also on the Teams show with around 400 people watching this. Maybe you have a look at your waiting list. And we have Expert Live in Germany on 20th of June and the Infinity Conference in Austria. So let's see some smaller parts here. The Teams Profi, this is the AMS Berlin I just talked about. You can attend here for free, 30 sessions on-site and remote. So let's see if we see us there. Of course, the European Collaboration Summit, here you got a speaker code, a speaker voucher. If you want to attend, I will be community reporter on this event. So if you cannot attend, you can watch the YouTube channel from the European Collaboration Summit and you will see much content from my side. So we have the Teams show. As I told today, it was today one was number 4 and number 5 will be on the 25th of May. You can attend there and we will do some Power Automate flows in the show. Of course, if you want to come in the modern work community here in Germany and we can share our knowledge and help us each other. What do we have still here? Global Security and Compliance Conference from Raphael will be on 13th and 14th of June in 2023. Conference around networking and, of course, about security and compliance. And this is the last one. Let's see. It's the Infinity Conference in Austria. We also attend there all. I think maybe all German and I don't know, everybody from the MVPs might be there. I think I've seen so many posts for Infinity 365. Also, we have a speaker voucher here for you if you want to attend. So if you have any community events you would like us to share here on this stage, then send them to us. And of course, add your emails to our newsletter, and we will be happy to get in contact with you. So guys, my God. This was it. I'm happy now to end this session with my English.
In 10 days.
Yeah. This was also really funny because, sorry, I muted you. I'm sorry, we cannot speak. It's much easier to talk to you when I mute you. This is great. We always talk together usually. Yeah, this could not happen now. So I was very happy that Adis told to me from the European Collaboration Summit that, of course, the community reporter is completely in English. Okay, let's see how this works out then. Okay, Ragnar, I will turn on your microphone.
Yeah. So thanks for all the preparation and also everybody who is here in the US. In 1.5 weeks, I'm in Las Vegas, M55 conference Vegas, and this is going to be awesome. So back in the US.
Yeah. So Hans is still there. Hans is still there.
Yeah.
So goodbye, Hans. Have a great time there.
Super. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks, Amy and Chris, for this show. It was not so easy this time, but it was great information. So thank you very much all, and have a great weekend, and come back home very good. Okay? Thank you, babe. Good flight. Bye-bye. Where is the trailer?